All right. Really good afternoon to everyone right here. I mean, thank you all for joining us for this for the webinar. We're very excited to be sharing some really cool stuff with you guys, and we're really pleased to have the Class 2 team with us today. We have Chu, right, the CEO of Class 2, as well as Carol. Say hi, guys. And from the Reactor School side, we have Elaine. Hi, Elaine.
Hi.
Yeah, and I'm Shohan, and we're really excited to have you guys all with us this afternoon. Thank you all for being here. So today I'll be your host and moderator, and we have a really exciting program lined up for the next 90 minutes. So just to share a little bit more about what we do, right? We have been championing entrepreneurship education for the last 9 years, and ultimately, right, we want to be in a place, right, where we help young students, right, build the right skills, the right mindsets to start their own businesses, right, down the line. This is going to be a very exciting time. To get things started, right, could we have everyone just say hi, right? If you're not on your camera, to wave, just say hi in chat, right? So let's just have everyone say. Okay, great. I see hi from Ning, from Madeline, from Bernice. Fantastic. So yes, please use the chat, right, to raise questions, to give any comments. We will be checking chat, right? And we really want to have a really fun, casual conversation with everybody right here. So good. And before we begin, we just also wanted to give you guys some tips, right, on how you want to optimize your Zoom experience. So we recommend selecting the speaker view. So this is the button that you can click at the top right of your screen. In speaker view, the speaker will always be highlighted, right? So we recommend that. And if you are on mobile, right, you can click on the three dots in your bottom right corner, right, and you'll be able to change your settings there, right? And last note before we start, this session is recorded, right? And feel free to share this with your colleagues, with your friends. This will be available on demand on our website, www.reactor.school under For Educators. So once again, today's topic, it's a really exciting one, right? Digital classroom tools for entrepreneurship educators. We all know that digital classrooms are the norm these days. But I think what has been really interesting over the last couple of months is to see how we can turn what a lot of people think is a weakness, right? Because you don't have that face-to-face interaction, to turn that weakness, supposedly, right, into a strength, right? And today is fantastic to be able to chat with Chu from Class 2, and we will be sharing with you a lot of tips, a lot of actionable things you can take away. A quick run through of how today is going to be. We are doing our introductions right now. We'll have a quick interactive demo of Class 2 to check out what's in store, right, when on the platform. We'll also be taking a look at Miro. It's a very powerful tool, and this is something that we use in our programs as well. After the two demos, we'll have a short chat with Chu, right, where we'll be digging into the nuts and bolts, right, of running a digital classroom. And finally, we'll wrap it up with some Q&A as well as feedback. So before we start, right, where are we all here, right? At Reactor School, right, our mission, right, is to cultivate the galaxy's best young founders. And we believe in starting young, starting early. Just a quick overview of some of the things that we can do, right? We want to help you turn your entrepreneurial students, turn their ideas into companies. We work with students from age 13 to 24. And here's a very quick overview of why how we'll be able to help you. Besides having real-world exposure for all of your students, all of our programs are extremely real-world. We want to be able to help you track your alumni after the program ends, right? So with a Reactor program, the learning doesn't just stop with the program, it extends beyond that. Ultimately, we do have a set of tools that helps you reduce your workload. We are also able to customize our programs to meet your needs. And finally, every single school gets dedicated resources. Just a quick overview. In terms of our programs, right, we have a wide range, starting from level 1, as young as 30 to 40, where we develop a simulation for them to understand what starting a business, starting a startup is all about, all the way down to a level 4 program, which is targeted at more older students, more mature students, who are a lot more ready and a lot more clear about what they want to do. And this is where we want to push them towards incorporating a company for real. Some of our programs, right, we have everything from a 2.5-day boot camp, which is right here on the left, right? So this is a very intensive boot camp similar to a hackathon, except that it can also be done online. We also have a range of self-paced programs, which can last anything from 4 to 8 weeks. And finally, we also do have some technical workshops right, which are very focused on a specific area. If you're interested to find out more, do reach out to us, right? But most importantly, before we continue, right, we've shared a little bit more about ourselves, but we also want to hear about you, right? So we'd like to get some thoughts. So click on this link right here. And Eileen, could I get your help to put this link into the class chat as well? And you will find yourself in a Miro board right here, right? So take your time, click on the link.
Okay. Oh, oops. Sorry, I left out the bit.ly.
Oh. And what we'd like everybody to do, right, is to create a sticky note right here and give a little introduction, right? Following the format right here. Hello, my name is, and share something interesting or weird about yourself. Oh.
I think you might have to give permissions, Jahan.
Yeah, I have permissions up set up. Does everybody? Are you able to come into the Miro board? If you can't, do refresh the screen. Okay, fantastic. We see more post-its coming in. All right.
Okay, everyone should be.
Hi, I'm Shahan. All right, we've got Chu here. Still waiting for everyone else to give a little short introduction so that everyone knows a little bit more about you. All right, hi Bernice, nice to see you. Okay, Andrea went ahead to edit the post-it. That works. Oh no, no worries. And okay, great. Hi, Maddie. All right, we'll give everyone a little bit more time, right, to just give some introductions, and I'll come back to this in a while, right? But this is just a bit of a taste, right, as to what you can do with Miro, right? It's a digital whiteboard where you can really sketch, you can write, you can move things around. We find this a very powerful tool, right? And we'll be diving a little bit more into this as well as class 2, right, later on in this webinar, all right? Just to introduce a little bit about ourselves. Together, speaking today, right, we have Chu, who's the founder and CEO of Class Do. Chu, do you want to give a quick introduction about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Chu. I am the founder and CEO of Class Do. Pretty much, I do have some slides to describe about Class Do and what we are and what we do. So I'll just wait for that turn.
Okay, great. And on my side, I'm Shahan, the head of product at Reactor. And what we do is focused on entrepreneurship programs, right? So everything you do, right, together with my team, we are making amazing programs for you and your students. Okay, before we, let me just revisit the introductions. We have Tian, okay, as well as Bernice, fantastic. Okay, cool. So thank you all for introducing yourself. We'll now start with the first of our 2 demos today. And over to you, Chu. Let's find out a little bit about more Class 2 and do share with us a little bit more about how this can be used in a classroom setting. Over to you, Chu.
Awesome. All right. So okay if I share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, sorry, I just pressed the wrong button. So just give me one quick second while I fumble with how to share my screen. All right.
Your time.
One second. All right, so, all right, can you guys see what I see?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, welcome to class two. Actually, so this is class two. It's actually a virtual building by itself, and I'd just like to give you a very quick orientation of it before we go into the room itself. So right now we have the Reactor School organization. So this is like the Reactor School building, and inside the Reactor School building there are many rooms. You can create as many rooms as you want. So these are permanent rooms, and all I need to do is to click Work with Others. And right now it's actually going into one of the rooms that I created, and it's loading the remote videos. So once I load the remote videos, everything is built in here. And so just to say, okay, so I'm Chu. So what we do at Class 2, we are a virtual collaboration room platform. So we create like rooms like this. And the difference, I guess, between, like what Class 2 does versus like, like Zoom plus Miro plus whatever, is that Class 2 has everything built into here versus like Zoom is just a screen share tool. And, you use like various other tools. In an analogy, it's almost like, yes, you go out and build your own computer. Like, you find your own best motherboards, you find your own best hard disk, you find your own best video cards, and you slot it all together and you build your own really powerful computer. That's sort of like the Zoom plus like all sorts of tools way. But Class 2 is more like Mac, where, like the whole environment is sort of like designed for you. So everything works seamlessly together. And you can actually just like get everything done, like you just jump in and you start teaching. So it's headquartered in Singapore. We have international clients, and we're trying to make the online experience is to be as effective as it is in person. So so this is Class 2. It's your school building virtually, and we have actually built this. We have actually designed this very closely with educators, and we built this for education. So with the whole point is to make you feel like you're sitting side by side in the same room. So Class 2 is designed for admins, and as you can see, like this is the room itself. Like just imagine you're not using Zoom and you're actually jumping into the room with me. Then you can actually just see all the videos, like coming into here like in one screen. And by the way, this runs completely in the browser, so there's nothing to install. It's not like Zoom where you have to install things and you have to enable permissions and like give it access to your OS and things like that. So it's actually quite secure. The way we design this is that, I'm just going to choose a color, and it's interactive. So, it's the rooms are permanent. As you can see just now, what you have before we entered the room are, like you have created rooms, just like a building. So you have rooms and you actually go in and out of a room. It's quite easy for me to just WhatsApp somebody and say, hey, can you meet me in like room A, or can you meet me in room B? And you just jump in and out of room A and room B. It's very different from all sorts of other video conferencing solutions where, it's like, oh, which link again? Oh, send me the meet invite link and things like that. No, it doesn't happen that way. You just log in with your phone or your email, and you can see the rooms that's available to you, and you just jump in and out of the rooms. For admins, there's auto attendance. So whoever is in, it actually takes attendance. Like, oh, Chu is in there for 5 minutes from what time to what time. Cherhan is a much better student. He was in there for like a whole hour. And, like for example, like Carol's absent, So we actually do, it actually does all of this automatically for you. So you don't even have to worry about it. And Class 2 is safe and secure. It runs on the browser. So by default, everything is secure. and all the logins are authenticated. So, you know, if somebody steals the, you know, like the meeting room ID and password, we're still sending an OTP, a one-time password, into either your email or your phone, so that it's all authenticated towards the person. And we see a lot of educational institutions finding that to be very attractive, just because, you know, like they need that kind of privacy and security. And yeah, so everybody, you know, like right now I'm just annotating straight on, you know, like slides and things like that. This stays here. And you know, like the next time you come into the room, everything just stays here for you. And so if you're in the same room with me, you can actually annotate together with me. So as I mentioned, all the collaboration tools is all, like, you know, all that you need to do is in one place. So let me just give you a very quick demo of like all sorts of various things. So as you can see, this part is actually designed as, you know, it's just like Google Chrome tabs. And, you know, I have a tab here. So what I'll do right now is, okay, so you have all sorts of tools that's already built in. And you know, everything works seamlessly together. So let's say, okay, I'll just either, you know, upload a PDF, which I've already uploaded a PDF here. Let me just do a sketch. And then, so now I open our whiteboard and I'll just go hello. And, you know, like I'll just write with my typepad here. Or the other way is that I can just use my phone, scan a barcode, and immediately this phone becomes a touchpad. And I can actually just write straight on it. Maybe I should try it. So I'll just go to tools and I'll just click second device. Just give me one moment where I'll activate my camera. So I'll just click start second device and it just gives me a barcode. And so, oops, sorry. So I'll just tap this and opens out a barcode for me. And so now it just opens up a room. And I'm here. And as you can see, I'm writing straight on my phone. So, so I'm just doing this and you can see me writing very, very, very quickly because this is from my phone. So I'm just gonna pinch this and, you know, you can see me doing stuff like this directly from a phone. You can actually just use this without buying a Wacom tablet or anything. Of course, like, you know, I can have a typepad. So I'm just creating a typepad here and I just name this content, what to do for today, assignments. So what I'll do here is I would just assignments for today. And I'll just type things here. So all these things are actually safe for you. And it's actually in the library. So as I create more and more things, you can actually see everything just being in here in the library. I can share YouTubes, so we can watch this together. I can actually create polls. So as you can see, everything is just built in. I can close these off. And as you can see, I can reopen any of my old things again. So, you know, let's say I reopen this and then I'll reopen the assignments for today. And even in the assignments for today, if you actually, this is the Zoom thing, you know, I can actually just type. So this whole thing has become my remote control. So as you can see, I'm just going to type hello and you can see me typing hello right straight from my phone. So you can actually get, you know, it's a lot more powerful from there. Coming back to this, there's also what we call the upload homework function. So this one's actually quite cool. So we've actually solved the homework loop for you. What you do is you would just go to tools and, oops, sorry, it's this one, submit work. And it's going to give me a barcode again. So I will just scan it and I would just tap it to go to my phone again. So in my phone, I've already taken photos of all my homework in the gallery. And all I need to do is to select the files. I can, of course, like do a camera as well. So smile for me, Charhan. So, all right, so I've just taken a photo. I've just taken a photo and I've just done okay. So just to show you that, and then I'll select another file. Oh, I'll just take another photo here. Just press OK. I'll select one more file from my files. Let's see. All right. So I'll just select just one random file. And so I'll just click OK right here. So once I click OK, it's just uploading everything into, into here. So what I'll do is that I'll just close this. And so everything has been uploaded into this into here, and you can actually just check your homework from here. So let me just come back to here. So, one moment, please. All right. Okay, so the homework is actually available in here, and what you do is like, all the collaboration. I think we're running out of time, so I might have to go faster with this. So so all the collaboration you need is in one place, and all the files that I've actually taken is actually uploaded in the library. So from the library you can recall it, like all the homework and everything that you have uploaded, you can recall it, and you can actually just submit all your homework via QR code right straight into the library, and you can actually just call it back from the library. So everything is built in here for you. So what we have in the pipeline, this is getting released in the next few weeks. A lot of the how would I call it, the like all these like video conferencing software and things like that, you're actually just having what we call, like in a physical room, like the blackboard view. But in a real room, it doesn't happen like that. You have a blackboard and you have your own desk. So in class 2, we're actually releasing what you call a personal desk, where the teacher can actually scribble things, but you actually have your own desk and you're actually doing your own work in your own desk. And let's say if the teacher says, okay, I'm going to give a handout, and the teacher clicks something, and that actually becomes handouts into every single desk. And everybody can actually start doing their homework in their desk. Students cannot see each other's desk, but the teacher can actually jump from desk to desk to desk to desk to see what everybody's doing. So when you upload your homework, it's actually not uploaded into the room where everybody can see. It's actually uploaded into the desk. And actually the teacher can actually jump from desk to desk to desk to actually check homework or to give you handouts, and people like just would do it in the desk. And of course, like there's the breakout spaces where you can actually subdivide people into different groups, discussion groups, and then bring them back into the main room again. So just this is a summary. What we do is that on the left side, it's actually designed for admins. It's very safe and secure. It does auto attendance for you, as well as a lot of administrative functions. So you actually don't need to do any admin. The permanent rooms are there, so you don't need to create new links and things like that. And we actually have an API that links it to all your LMS and whatever. So if you actually add somebody into your Google Auth, or you actually add somebody into your LMS, immediately those respective rooms and everything has been created for you, and people can just jump into the rooms without like creating all sorts of different links every time. So that's for admins. But for educators, so you have very seamless homework submission. You can do a lot of stuff via QR code. There's something that I remembered that I should show you. we also have something called a visualizer. So again, I'm just going to, again, like everything works on the QR code. And I would just scan this. Let's see. I would just scan this. And I'm just actually, this is actually launching. And it actually turns your camera into a second camera immediately. So as you can see, you know, smile for me. So, you know, this is my computer, and I've actually turned my phone into a second camera immediately. And what this would do is that, you know, you can actually just say, oh, show me what's on your paper or show me what's on your book. And so these are the kind of things that's actually built so that, you know, like you're actually feeling it. You're sitting side by side each other because you can show people things. And so there are a lot more tools. Like I invite you to actually come into class and test it all out. There's too many features in here that I cannot talk that I cannot finish demoing in 15 minutes. But you can actually submit your homework via QR code. All your files is actually saved in here. So whenever you come in and out, everything is available for you. You don't have to go and hunt for it in some other tool. And so this stuff is in Google Docs, that stuff is in Miro, that stuff is in whatever. So, you know, like all your things are just flying everywhere. And all your collaboration tools is, you know, like everything that you need, that you don't need to screen share and sort of like, you know, like try to switch between applications and things like that. So it's all built into here, all in one for you. And so that's me. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. And if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, Chu, since we're on topic, right? Bernice asked a question about file size limits.
Sorry?
Bernice asked a question in the chat about, is there a file size limit for video uploads and so on?
Okay, so video uploads, you can it's actually, you know, what you do is like you actually, I think my screen is still shared. There is no file size because like what you can do is literally just take a YouTube link, literally just enter, oh, sorry. You just take a YouTube link. I'll just copy this YouTube link and then I'll just paste it here. Ooh, that's not it. Okay, I've just pasted it here, and it just goes, do you want it? And I'll just click this, and that's it. Like, you know, everybody knows Sir Ken Robinson. You know, he passed away, but this is actually what.
While being part of the process of globalization, how public education paid for from has risen in parallel with the growth of standardized testing.
And that's streamed directly from your YouTube to everyone, so you can just watch it together.
Nice, very cool, very cool. That's the only question so far. We do have more Q&A time at the end of the session, right? Thanks so much, Chu, for sharing.
All right, thanks.
I was super impressed with the camera. Like, that's something new. We definitely wanna try out like Class Do, man. Like just the whole, yeah.
Yeah, we're having a lot more, you know, like especially the desk feature where, you know, like it actually works just like a virtual building. And within a real room where you have desk and you can actually just walk around, like just seeing what people do in the desk.
Right.
So it really simulates, instead of like just forcing you onto one screen share and everybody just stares at it. So this is built together with educators, and we're very grateful with the educators who work together with us to build this. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks so much, Shu. We've got more time for more questions later, right? So we've seen a little bit more about what a digital school, a digital classroom, right, with desks will look like. And we've talked a little bit about Miro. You guys have tried it out as well. We do have a short video from the Miro team. All right, so we thought that we'll share this video with you. A quick overview into what a digital whiteboard might be, right? So we're going from school down to a whiteboard. So let me just play the video right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. We don't want it at speed 2. There we go.
There's no sound. I think because you muted yourself.
Ah,
Yeah, you have to
I'm
share
so,
your computer sound.
I'm so sorry, guys. Give me a second. I just need to share the audio sound as well. Let's
I
see.
think
Okay,
it's
I got it right
equal
here.
to screen sharing.
Okay, give me a second. I do need to restart Zoom. Maybe this is a reason.
You know what? Hey, I may be able to help you out here. Let me just
That's right.
start inside class 2. Hey, there
Exactly.
we go. It's quite funny. Just give me a sec. May I just share my screen again?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got the URL?
Yes, I just got it. So
Okay, fantastic. I'll stop the share.
all right. So I will just come back into this, and what I'll do is I will just add a YouTube, and I have the URL right here. So I'm just gonna come to my just give me one quick second. So you can just type any YouTube, any URL that you want. So I'll just do HTTPS youtube.com watch question mark equal HF underbar MDGX5EY. All right. So there, immediately it just like goes to YouTube and just tries to pull in that video and just go, hey, is this what you want? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I just press save, and immediately it's in here, and I'll just play it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar and for your interest in innovative teaching practices. My name is Natalie Nedry, and I'm really pleased to meet you as I'm running marketing programs for education and nonprofit users here in Miro. Miro is probably the closest digital analog of well-known classroom whiteboard where students and educators used to work together, but probably before 2020. We are really proud that we not only have been supporting users in this challenging remote year, but we have been providing our solution for free for students and educators since 2012. I'm excited to share that right now, students and teachers from top universities really trust Miro and use Miro for different purposes, either engaging in online classes, running group projects beyond the classrooms, doing some student clubs, plan their works, do some academic research and manage internships. So these are probably the most common use cases for education in Miro, but absolutely there are more stories. So let's quickly meet with what Miro is. So basically, you can first off share the board you want to work at with your teammates or classmates. So here's this share button where you can click this screen pops up, so you can paste the emails and set up the access rights for every user, and then they will join the internet canvas. And probably one of the quickest way to start working together is to brainstorm on either sticky notes, they're located here in a toolbar, or a mind map, which is also a pretty simple concept to start ideating. Also, a very simple tool to collaborate together is our pen. So nothing really challenging, but there's one fun feature called smart drawing. So it turns the objects into great looking shapes. Really useful when you are doing some quick sketches. So next, besides the sticky notes, mind map, and sketches, you can also organize this as your content hub. So put everything you have about your course in one place at Miro board. So this can be mockups and web page screenshots, wireframes. You can also embed Google Documents to a board and turn pages or open and edit it right from the board, or add PDF and not only be able to turn the pages, but also extract those pages on the board right here. And for your collaborative teaching practices, we've also added some features like timer, voting, and comments. They're located in a toolbar at the bottom of the whiteboard. Oh, okay, it's right here. And yeah, it will make your live sessions more engaging. This is probably the most basic intro to the whiteboard, but the possibilities are enormous, and we definitely have more information to support you. We have Miro Academy with short video courses on how to use Miro. We have our YouTube channel with either product videos or our webinars with market leaders in design thinking, ideation, agile management, or just collaboration during workshops. We have our support and help center with hundreds of useful articles on how to find and actually apply particular tools. There's also Miro online community. It's more of a forum with active Miro users sharing best practices, asking questions, and replying to some. And one more interesting asset is our gallery of community templates or community boards. So Miroverse is a gallery where users share what they do in Miro. It's a great source of inspiration. And if you want to start using Miro, we have really good offers for students and educators. So your students can basically apply for a free education plan with 10 sets for 10 collaborators for 2 years. While you as an educator of the accredited educational institution can apply for a free education plan with 100 seats, so you can invite 100 either colleagues or students to join your team in Miro and work on your boards. And if it sounds like something interesting for you, feel free to apply now at miro.com/education whiteboards. I will be really happy if you can also share your feedback in either community or social media. I will be happy to read and to communicate with you. Thanks for your attention. I hope you will have a good time on this webinar. Wish you all the best, and bye.
Thank you so much, Chu,
Oh yeah, no
for saving the day with the video.
yeah, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll just stop sharing right now.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much. So everyone, you guys have gotten a taste of what Miro can do, right? Digital whiteboard with lots and lots of tools, right? Very similar to Class Do, in the sense that you're able to really manipulate information on a whiteboard. But of course, if you really want a camera, then I think Class 2 is probably the platform for you. So I think at this point of time, we wanted to jump into some activities, right? And thank you all for introducing yourself right here in Miro. If you guys can zoom out, right, you will be able to see that there is more to come, right? So we've talked a little bit about the tools, right? So digital classroom tools, right? We also wanted to dive a little bit into what entrepreneurship education is about. Right, you might be asking and thinking, right? How do I get students to think about entrepreneurship, right, in a more meaningful way, in a way for them to actually get started, right? To start their own startup, right? Very much like you. So this is one example of how you can run a lesson, right? So I guess the key question, right, I wanted to ask all of us here today, right, is as entrepreneurship educators, what is a challenge that you face, right? What is a challenge that you face regularly? And likewise, like what you did early on, right? I'd like you to create a little post-it. So feel free to use one of the post-its over here, right? And populate it in the area down here. All right. So as an example, right, I said that I would like to solve the problem of keeping in touch with some of our students after they've graduated. So for example, if you're in a secondary school, if you're in a poly, you're in a university, you're in a college, what happens when your students graduate, right? How do you keep in touch? Another problem I want to solve is that students find entrepreneurship quite risky, right? How do we change their mindset, right? So I'll give you some time, right, to populate this post-it, and we'll return to this later on, right? But feel free, right, to use the post-its over here, right, to share with us, right, what are some of the challenges that you face as educators, right? And since we're on the topic of what a Miro classroom, or what a digital classroom might be, right, regardless of what platform you're on, I wanted to show you guys some examples, right, of digital classrooms in action. So over here, if you can see my screen, right, these are post-its that were created by some of our students, right, in a recent program. And it's amazing to see what they have shared, right? Some of these students shared that they wanted to tackle tourism, right? How a lot of tourism is harmful or unethical, right? Some students wanted to focus on logistics, right? The problem of post boxes being too far, right? Or too far away from home, or too few, right? And you'll notice, right, like, we're able to tag the post-its, right, social impact, helping small businesses, and consumer lifestyles. So over here, right, it is amazing, right? Take your time to zoom in and look into some of the things that the students have shared. We have removed their names, right, for privacy reasons, but it's amazing, right, to see what problems they want to solve. And what we have done with this Miro board, right, or any whiteboard, is to group them into different categories, right? Social impact, consumer and lifestyle, all the way through to helping small businesses. And this is a very good way to form teams, right? You're never going to start a business on your own. You could, of course, right? But it's so much better if you're working with fellow colleagues, right? Fellow co-founders. And so what we're doing here, right, is over the course of 2 to 3 days, we are helping these 5 students to form a team to solve something in social impact, and likewise for the various teams, right? So this is one way, right, that you can really translate something that you might do in real life onto a digital classroom setting. All right, and I think the wonderful thing about digital classrooms is that after the session's over, right, all these things are retained. Right? These are amazing learning artifacts that you can come back to down the line, something that your students can come back to as well. Another really, really fun activity, right, that we have been running in our programs is a virtual treasure hunt, right? So over here, right, remember the 5 teams that we had, right? Social impact and so on. Here are the 5 teams, right? And just as a fun icebreaker activity, right, at the start of the program, and remember, all of them they're still separate, right? They're still all in their rooms, on their laptops. We asked them to complete these 15 tasks, right? And the first team that completes it wins a prize, right? And it was amazing, right? It was really fun to see them be really creative. And if you dive into some of the treasure hunt activities, you notice that we really wanted to push them to think a little bit more about entrepreneurship, right? So for example, how would you want to record a video of you doing a TikTok, right? It doesn't seem immediately relevant to entrepreneurship, but it is important because whenever you launch a product, you need to market it, right? You need to reach out to your customers, right? We also ask them a little bit about ASEAN, right? One of the things that we emphasize in our programs is not to look beyond Singapore, right? I mean, there is a very big industry in Southeast Asia and Asia in general. So make sure that you appreciate, right, and learn a little bit more about our neighboring countries and economies, right? In this treasure hunt, I think it was Team Orange that won, right? And just like how we have video sharing where we got the students to share a little bit more about their pet dog, some of the medals that they have won as students, as well as why do they like Carousel so much as a Singaporean homegrown startup. So yeah, the virtual treasure hunt was a hit, right? And we hope that you might want to take this and try this out, right? Whether it's in a digital classroom or even in a physical one, right? I think a third activity I wanted to jump into is the Lean Canvas, right? So you guys may be familiar with the Lean Canvas, right? It's a very simple way for students to map out their thoughts. And likewise, right, we get them to share their thoughts and put it into post-its, right? And you'll notice all these little arrows, right, kind of converging onto the digital, onto the Lean Canvas. These are additional templates, right, that do help them map out their thoughts before it converges onto the Lean Canvas. So once again, it's a very helpful tool that can be done on any digital whiteboard, any digital classroom. All right, so we've given you guys a bit of time to take a look into some of the activities that you can do. Now, let's move on a little bit into a chat, right? We have a couple of, I'll skip on these slides. We're running a little bit late on time, so I think it's important to spend some time with the Class 2 team, right? So let's jump ahead, right, to the fireside chat with Chu. So we've looked into the various platforms, right, available for teachers and educators right now, right? So I think jumping right into the bit of Q&A, right? Chu, I wanted to ask you, what would you say is one big misconception that a lot of educators may have about teaching and learning online? Oh, Chu, you're muted. Gotta unmute yourself.
All right.
Hey.
Can you hear me? All right, that's great. So misconceptions. I guess there are a few. I think one of those is like people are just going, yeah, online is inferior to in-person lessons. So no, it really depends on how the lesson is conducted. So online teaching allows for a lot of personalization. It allows for record gameplay, for revisions, for like for gamification and things like that. So you kind of need to use things properly and not just go, hey, yeah, it's inferior to physical. And people think so the second misconception, right, is like, okay, online learning means pre-recorded lessons, or it's like video chat and screen share, watch my screen, so no, it's like you with fully interactive live lessons, you can really feel like you're interacting with each other, like you're in the same room. So something like Class 2 is like is fully interactive. The other one is that I think people are just not used to online yet, and so the teacher talks a lot. Like the teacher must be the only person talking and just go like teaching and like all the time. Like just because it's such a new medium, right? People just get panicky and like they're like, okay, yeah, I need to retain control of this. So no, in actual fact, like even if you're online, right, you can actually get students to answer polls, answer questions, do online exercises together, like do offline work, like they can stream into the online room, have breakout discussions, get students to teach other students. So it's pretty much like, it depends on the tool that facilitates like, like what you do. And like if you can just focus on the teaching and just get some of the tools to facilitate what you're doing, then it could be a very, very, very good experience. And it's definitely not more inferior than physical. But it takes time to get all the know-how,
Absolutely. It's really interesting that you talked a little bit about the breakout rooms, right? And I thought that, just wanting to share a little bit from our experiences with our reactor programs, we found that Discord is particularly useful, right? So let me just jump back to this screen, right? So Discord is a chat app, right? Very similar to Slack, or very similar to I would say that Slack is probably the best example, right? And one thing that Discord started off is being an audio chat for gamers, but we've seen it being applied to communities and schools. I mean, it's really applicable as well. And to give an example, right, what we do in programs is for students to break out on their rooms, right? And because of the way that, if you can see on the right here on the screen, we're able to see when the students are talking, right? Because the little speaker icon is bobbing up and down, right? So likewise, as the teachers, right, I don't need to know, I'm able to kind of get a sense that all my students are having their own discussions. And if I need to jump in, I can just immediately join their rooms. So I really agree with you, what you said about breakout rooms, right? Having that dynamic is really, really important for online lessons. I guess another thing I wanted to ask is, has there been any surprises, right? Like, like when you have a lot of teachers on your platform, as they are onboarding and getting used to online lessons, right? Have there been any surprising discoveries?
I think one surprising discovery is the kind of mess people get into when they try to just build their own solution, because like for one thing, right, like for example, like Reactor School is very, very tech savvy, and like it's very, very easy for Reactor School to put things together. But we found that like some people who are less tech savvy, like when they try to do this like build my own PC kind of thing, they really, really mess up, because like, as you can see, the Discord thing, the Miro, like some people can control all sorts of data, like, like landing everywhere and, like being able to piece it together. But it usually happens to be in a boom, like, like this big mess, and people just go, oh, yeah, it was in where maybe Discord, somewhere in Slack, or, like somewhere in this and that. So, one of the discoveries is that like when you find a good tech platform, right, that supports like a good you need to find that thing that doesn't sort of like waste your time. So you're actually just like focusing on teaching. And the other one is that I think the engagement is the discovery that like so rather than just watching you share PowerPoint slides, the engagement makes a very, very, very big difference between whether the student enjoyed the lesson or the student didn't enjoy the lesson. So really you can't just share PowerPoints and just and unless you're a very, very good comedian that can entertain, like as well as somebody like as a 1 hour TV reality show, you really need to build in some form of interaction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just curious too, also, right? Like, you've got a lot of teachers, right? Educators on Class Do, right? Have you had any experiences, chatting with your teachers that, obviously now because of COVID, they have had to move a lot of lessons online.
Right.
In a post-COVID world, have some of them shared with you that they may actually want to stay and have more lessons online rather than offline? Have you heard any of some feedback from them?
I think it's divided into two camps. Like, like the people who just go, okay, this is the new normal. I need to sort of like, just do, like the old normal is not going to come back again. Like I need to adapt to the new world. Right. And so those are the ones who thrive. But there are people who, just like fight against technology and just really hope that this whole nightmare is going to be over again and can go back to my old life, right? But it's not going to happen. Like, just look at digital banking, digital, like everything, like you just can't go back to the old normal of going outside and just flag a taxi, like just download your Grab app, So, I think resistance is, like people hate change, and it's divided into that camp who really hates change and really want to get back to normal, or they're actually just going, okay, like, let me change. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks so much, Shu. I fully agree with you about a new normal. It's obviously the COVID situation is not a good one, right? Not just for Singapore, but for the whole world. But there have been quite a few silver linings, right, in terms of how people have been changing mindsets, right, and adopting new ways of doing things. I wanted to jump into something tactical, right? Something that would be very helpful for all the educators here with us, which is do's and don'ts, right? So what would you say are some really, like, the top 2 to 3 do's and don'ts when it comes to running a lesson online?
Okay, I guess first most important do, it really doesn't matter which platform you use, like whatever tool you use, right? So make sure that everyone tests their devices and internet connection before joining. It's very, very important, because like if you have a class of 10 and, like one person cannot join, like you either have the really hard choice of leaving that person behind and taking care of your 9 people, or the 9 people would stare at you awkwardly trying to help that one person trying to get on, whatever that person's problem is, So it doesn't matter what you use, be it Zoom, be it Class 2, be it whatever. really just ensure that everyone has one test before you actually do like, like a group session. And therefore you don't find people being disappointed, right? Into, oh, I'm so looking forward to it and I can't join in, right? And so plan for, and the second one is like you do need to plan for a variety of like interactive activities online, right? So you need to vary the pacing and like just keep the engagement up. So that's the key. Keep the engagement up. Do keep the engagement up. Okay.
Yeah.
The third one is quite interesting. The third one is you need, we found that you kind of need to allow space for students to ask questions verbally. We talked to a lot of students. They really hated teachers going in and mute everyone and just go, yeah, just do the chat, right? And it doesn't happen in real life, right? Students really hate it. Like, it's just like, yeah, whatever you have questions, like, you ask in the chat and I'll answer in the chat. And that's not real interaction. So regardless of the tool you use, like we found that students kind of like really hate that, like why am I chatting with you? Kind of, like it's almost like going into a real classroom and go, oh, yeah, if you have any questions, just tweet me, please. And then I look my Twitter and and it's so that do allow space for students to ask questions verbally, whether it's time or whether it's like the unmuting process. Don't. So one of the thing is we're in the new normal. Don't teach the masses. So if you try to teach like like 200 people, you will be a live YouTube video. So like it's you might as well just record a YouTube video and just get people to watch it on demand. People don't watch TV anymore. Like they watch YouTube because it's on demand. So I think you need to like try to build in some flipped learning concepts so that you get people to watch certain things and like the breakouts and the whatever, those are important. So you're actually just getting people to discuss in small little groups. So the old ways of trying to teach the masses life is gone. Don't just screen share. If you just screen share, it's not interactive. It wastes time. Like as you're screen sharing, you're watching, like you load all sorts of different application, like and make mistakes and whatever. Like don't screen share. Like use something like, just have like, for example, in class 2, we get people to just prepare stuff in tabs. So you can switch from tab to tab to tab. And you're not wasting people's time, right? And try not to scatter your content everywhere. So if you're using Zoom and you have to use all sorts of external tools, try to stick with just 1 or 2 tools. Because if you scatter things into like 10 different things, right? In the end, like people just can't go back and stitch the 10 things back together. I think the last one about don't just stream videos in a live lesson. We've seen a lot of teachers do that actually, like in a Zoom session, and students don't get the motivation to learn. Why are they coming to a live session watching you stream an on-demand video where they can actually on-demand video? So maybe that's what sort of like the last don't.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Hugh. I mean, I fully agree with what you mentioned, right? And I also wanted to share a little bit about, how we've made our classrooms and our courses really engaging, right? We break things up into small little chunks, right? And I'm fully on board with the flipped classroom approach, right? Like just to share a little bit about how we've ran some of our entrepreneurship programs, right? We get students to watch a video on their own time, right? So it's not a live stream, and they can tackle a lesson, right? That has a couple of MCQ quizzes. If there is content that's designed to challenge them, and then most importantly, there's an activity, right, for them to dive into. Another thing that we've found that really works, right, is also, right, if you're going to schedule, let's say, a 2-hour program or a 3-hour program, break it up, right, and have time in the middle, right, where you can, as the teacher, right, drop into your different groups, right, and help them, right, and I echo what Chu was mentioning about like customizing it, right? Don't teach to the masses, but rather customize your learning for each specific team or each specific student. Yeah. Chu, are you jumping in to take some notes in class, do?
Yeah, and I'm just sort of like just writing this down for everyone. What did I talk about?
You said
Engagement.
yep, chunk it up.
What was the like allow space for live questions.
Yep, rather yes. So yes, most definitely, everyone will be able to ask live questions later. Yeah.
Don't teach the masses. And then don't just screen share.
Just screen share. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, don't just screen share. And then don't just live. Don't just in videos.
Don't just show videos, right? Yeah, got it.
Videos. Don't just show videos.
Cool.
It's really not productive. So yeah, this one, like it's just not interactive and waste time.
Got it. We will be opening the floor to everyone, right, to ask questions. But I do have one more question for Chu, which is that, as a startup founder,
Right.
you are looking to really change the way we learn, change the way we teach. What is one challenge that you're really, really obsessed with tackling right now?
I think at this moment, like it's even outside of Singapore, like for example, the COVID situation in Japan just has not improved. So in Tokyo itself, we're having like 300 cases per day, just in the city itself, like 300-400, like within the community, and like schools are closed and things like that. Students, university students and whatever are very discouraged. Like they actually want their money back because the experience on, like the teachers just use Zoom and screen share and watch. So there are two types, it's either you watch a live video and you submit your assignments, or, like you come onto Zoom and I just screen share and I show you slides kind of thing. So people actually want their money back. Like it's just not interactive. I think React to School is doing really, really well with you guys are very, very tech savvy, and like you can actually get these like environment together where people can interact and things like that. So that's the really, really important point where how do you actually get people to engage virtually? And if you don't want any of the hassle, or spend time trying to do the admin stuff, or get all these tools together, like Class2 is one of the sort of like the sensible platforms that you can just jump in and just get that interaction going, right? So coming back to that question, I think like making we want to make working together virtually is being as good as working together physically. So we just provide the tools, we provide the things that you don't even have to think. So you just teach, and just Class2 just handles everything for you. We're still working very, very closely with educators. Class2 is a product that's meant only for educators. So we're still working very closely with educators and just going, okay, what else would make your life better? So yeah, if we can make working together virtually as good as physically, then I think we've got we're getting closer and closer to our goal. So.
Nice. Thanks, Chu. Thanks for the shout out. I mean, we're doing our best here at React to School, and I'm I mean, we do our best, and I'm fully on board with your vision as well, right? I mean, we over here at React to School, we believe that the online experience, right, the virtual experience is just as good, right? And we want to work, we're fully on board, right? All right, I think at this point of time, right, we wanted to just hear from you as well, right? So we'll jump over to some Q&A, right? If you've got any questions for Chu about Class2, about digital learning, about online classrooms, I'm also happy to chip in a bit of our experiences from React School. But while you are thinking about your questions, right, can we get your help, right, to complete this feedback form, right? So on your screens, you will see a QR code, right? Just scan that QR code, right? And give us some feedback on how this webinar went for you, right? Is there anything that we can do to improve? What would you like to hear more about? Ultimately, just like Chu and Carol, right? We are in the business of helping educators do their best work, right? We want to help you teach and help your students succeed, right? Yeah, so really appreciate it if you guys can help us with the feedback form. And if you have any questions for Chu, now's the time, right? Just unmute your mic and yeah, just ask your questions.
Allow space for allow space for live questions, right?
Exactly.
Anyone here?
Okay. Does anybody have a question? All right. Okay. If you guys are still busy with the feedback forms, I've got a question for you, which is that from the initial sign-up forms, right, we noticed that a lot of you, right, it's a very good age group, right. Many of you are teaching younger students from 13 to 14, secondary school students. Some of you are teaching college, JC, and poly students, right? So Chu, based on your experiences, right, when it comes to teaching online, how do you think does a teacher need to adapt the way they teach when it comes to younger 13-year-old students all the way to, let's say, 20-year-old students? What do you see are some strategies for adapting the way you teach online based on age?
Okay. Maybe I'll just break up your question into a sort of like a different. I think if let me just screen share it again.
Absolutely.
If possible. So I'll just create a new typepad here. Okay. So I think if we watch enough like Ken Robinson videos. He's really he's really against like that kind of like age group the kind of like age group classification. A 7-year-old needs to do this, an 8-year-old needs to do that, like it's being very defined. I've seen some very good ways of classifying, and so you have actually what you call your dependent learners. Okay. And then you have your motivated learners. And you actually have what you call your disengaged learners. Let me just make this a bit bigger so that people can read it. So what does this mean? Like dependent learners really means, like the person is actually capable of learning. But every 20 minutes, they need to just go back to the teacher and just go, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? So the way to handle dependent learners is like, oh, hey, yeah, you're doing well, is that encouragement. So it's pretty much like the encouragement would drive, the kind of encouragement would drive them to learn. And it's just go, oh yeah, good. Like you're not even teaching them anything. You're just saying good. Well done, and then they'll learn better. The motivated learners don't actually need you to encourage them. They're actually going, like forward themselves. So the way for motivated learners is just to find new things, or try to challenge them to think about something in a different way. And the last one is what, like I would, like we actually call a disengaged learner, which a disengaged learner is just not interested anymore. They're bored. And why? Is it too hard? Too easy? Family problems? Like there could be like, like they're not learning well just because like, like at home, like, like the father is beating the mother up. And so the role of an indicator is actually really just to find out, like whether, like such a problem exists as well. Or, if something is too hard, they just get disengaged. It's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't understand. Even if I try hard, I won't understand this. Or too easy, it's just like, why is he or she droning on about this, like for half an hour? I know this in 3 minutes already. So I think one of the way is to divide the learners up rather than trying to divide the age groups up. And that would, like even when you're online, try to get these different learners in a different sort of like setting. And regardless of age, you can actually just have like a lot of age groups of all the motivated learners together, and it would be great. Like, like
Yeah.
the 8-year-old would challenge like the 14-year-old, but the 14-year-old would actually have something to learn from the 8-year-old. But disengaged learners, you need to keep your cohort a lot smaller and work with them. Dependent learners also, like, and like, yeah, I think that way of adapting to learners would be easier, would be better than trying just to go, yeah, you're an 8-year-old supposed to do that. That's my personal opinion.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing, Chu. I mean, I fully agree. I mean, you really need to understand the motivations, right, of the student, right? Absolutely.
Right.
Does anyone have any questions? About learning? Could be using a digital classroom tool. Could be anything. It could be about ClassDo. It could be about entrepreneurship, right?
If you're
Guys,
shy,
have any questions? Don't be shy.
you can ask in the chat. So
You could ask in chat. Yeah, that's right.
If you're shy, you can ask in the chat.
Just get a bit. Just gonna give everyone a little bit more time. Feel free to ask in chat, or you can turn on your mic.
Yeah.
I think riffing on what Chiu said, right? We have totally seen that dynamic in our programs as well, right? Some the students who are self-motivated, right? They're the ones that say, "Hey, we've already completed, ABC module. Can we just complete everything?"
Right.
And then they're just soaring ahead, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, what we realize is that you want to give them the right resources, right, for them to just kind of, take it to a whole new level,
right?
But that being said, right, what we have also seen is the ability, if you are able to turn the switch, right, to turn a disengaged learner into a motivated one, right, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
All right, great. We have a question in from Joey, right? So she's asking, right, how can we motivate or encourage uni students to set up businesses as an entrepreneur, or even encourage entrepreneurship-related talks, trainings, and courses? I've got some thoughts, but Chu, would you like to jump in to answer Joey's question first, or no? Okay, all right.
Go ahead first.
Got it. Yeah, this is our domain. So for Joey, I'll tackle both parts of your question, right? The first part is, how do you motivate uni students to set up businesses as entrepreneurs, right? I think there's so many ways that you can get things going, right? So I'll just touch on a few things, right? I think the first was role models, right? Like, if you grew up not seeing people like you, right, then it's difficult to imagine yourself in their position, right? So that's exactly why, it's so inspiring to see so many role models, right? You see all the various universities, right? SMU, NTU, SMU, SUTD, they're always showing, right? Here are your seniors, and here are the things that they have started, right? Whether it is SUTD, they created this little RFID ring, or whether it is, Carousel from NUS. So I think role models is one amazing way to encourage students to give it a shot. I think another thing, right, is to kind of go back to the why, right? So this is similar to what Chu talked about motivation, right? Why do you want to start a business? Because if you were to speak very bluntly, right, if you want to be incredibly rich, right, starting a business may not be the best idea, right? But to be blunt, right, it might be better, going into banking or something, right? But I think people who want to start their own businesses, right, whether it is a cafe, whether it is or whether it's a tech startup, like ClassDo, you want to, you notice a problem out in the world, right, and you are so passionate and you want to change it, right? You won't go to sleep until you're able to fix it in a certain way, right? So I think that's another reason, right? If you're able to tap into your students, right, and find out like what are their motivations, what are they really passionate about, right? Are they passionate about the environment? Are they passionate about lower income students? Are they passionate about access to education? And then try to get them to think about how can they solve it, right? So role models is one, right? Number two is going down to the motivation. And I think the third thing, right, which kind of dives into the second part of your question is, how do you encourage them to start attending entrepreneurship talks and trainings, right? I honestly think the best way to learn is by doing, right? Falling, right, scraping your knees and picking yourself up, right? It's amazing that right now there's so many hackathons, there's so many events. Some of them are organized by uni students, right? So your various entrepreneurship clubs in the various unis, they organize their own hackathons, their own conferences, Some of them are nationwide in Singapore, and some of them are beyond Singapore as well, right? So international hackathons, right? Or entrepreneurship education. Startup Weekend is a good example. So we encourage like students to, if you've got a little spark, go ahead and try, right? You're bound to fail, and that's perfectly normal as long as you're constantly learning and you're building new skills to start your own business. So Jovi, I hope that answers your question about how do you want to motivate uni students to get started. Chu, having started your own startup, right? Something you would like to share about like what got you going in the early days?
You've actually answered a large part of what but no, it is true. Like, you can't start encouraging somebody to become entrepreneurs just, you stand 0.01% chance to be as rich as Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. Like, that doesn't really, so the one thing about, like these entrepreneurship things is that they really need to feel very passionate about it. And so, like if an educator goes in and just go, hey, you're going to start an e-commerce company selling flowers, that's homework. Because like the person just has no interest. And so you can't just come out like, with oh, you're going to come out with this business idea of selling something, go. And people just go, oh, yeah, okay, now I'm not interested in flowers. Now I'm going to think about how to set up a flower shop. So it's just like, you need to go back one more step and just go, okay, what are you really passionate about? What do you really, 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 really want to do? And, like from there, like, you can actually get them to just go, okay, how would you do it more differently? But it needs to start, like, I think the key word is passion. Like, unless that person is really passionate about something, whatever else you think of and getting somebody to try to do it, that's homework.
Yeah. Got it. Thanks so much, Hugh. Yeah, fully agree. Passion, not homework, right? Yeah. The last thing you want is for students to approach this as homework, right? That would never fly.
Precisely, yeah. And if they treat it as homework, then like you've literally just killed all the fun in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like playing piano. Like, it's either you're forced to be in a piano practice, or like you're actually really wanting to play a piece, and like, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that brings me memories back to my childhood, man, when I was like forced to play piano. Yeah, totally can connect with that.
Right.
Thanks, Joey, for the question. Right, I hope that has helped many of you as well. We're coming down to about 6:30, so I think we can take 1 to 2 more questions. So I guess we'll give a little bit of time. Unmute your mic. Or you can ask the question in chat. So I guess, Chu, go ahead.
So for Reactor, like, like you guys have been running all sorts of programs, like, I'll ask you the flip question, like as you've asked me. So what are the surprising discoveries you've learned, like while running Reactor?
Right. I think so many, right? We're constantly learning, right? But if there's one thing that maybe we shouldn't be so surprised by this, but it's still always exciting when we get it, which is that it's never to underestimate what your students will come up with.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like for example, I'll give you an example, right? So we always have like kind of like a few key guiding questions, right? So for example, we'll say like, when it comes to figuring out what your problem is, right? Here are some tips as to figuring out like, is this a deep problem? Is this a socially like impactful problem, etc. right? And what we realize is that the best students totally surpasses that, right? So one thing we learned really early on is don't try to kind of like close your students in, right? Don't give them too much constraints, right? Give them a few guiding like principles, right. Give them a direction to run in, and then just let them go, right? Yeah. So I think to answer your question, like we've been really humbled and really impressed by a lot of our students in terms of like how far-reaching they are in their thinking,
right?
And also their execution.
Right.
Yeah. There were some students who So, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
There were some students who come in for our programs, right? And we're so impressed that they've already started their own businesses. Right?
Right.
Some of them have employees of their own already, right? And these are like 18, 19-year-old students, right? It's amazing.
I think yeah, I think one of the comments or it's not very surprising, like at least to me, is that like good entrepreneurs or like like people with whatever, like school grades have zero correlation, and
Yep.
in the fact that like if they actually don't do well in things like like they have failed in a lot of different things before, like because in entrepreneurship you need to fail, like you need to fail and learn, fail and learn. So like the seriously like like all the grade A's one, right, are not very comfortable in stepping out of the comfort zone, where the ones who have failed a lot before is like, okay, I'll just try something extremely new and just stepping out of. So I think school grades have nothing, has zero relation in terms of like entrepreneurship. So it's like it's not like, oh, you're so stupid, like can't even do well in school, like how that has zero correlation. Anybody who's willing to step out of the comfort zone and be uncomfortable for a while and try to learn like that new world, right, is really just going to be successful.
I cannot agree more. Yeah, fully agree.
Yeah.
There was once so something I've heard is there was once a program, right, when I remember how, in terms of the admissions criteria, right, they asked the students for what your grade was in school, and they rejected all the A students.
Oh, really? Okay, all right, yeah, that's good, because like
it was for like, yeah, so it's interesting, right? So or rather it was a hackathon, right? So basically the hackathon organizers said, if you've got a B or a C, you're in. If you're an A, I need you to record or give me a pitch deck. Like, why do you want to be in this hackathon?
That's great because like I've seen a few I've seen a few quite misguided entrepreneurship sort of like all these like whatever, is that they actually make the school schools nominate their top scorers into the program, and only if you're a top scorer in chemistry, then you can actually be in the program. And that's absolute garbage. I really hope that like whoever, all the educators in here, don't ever benchmark anyone who's interested in this, like in participating in any of this, against their grades. It has no correlation.
I fully agree. Yeah. Thanks so much for sounding that off, man. I think that's a fantastic way to wrap up. And that being said, we've seen some amazing A students as well, like build amazing businesses, right? But yeah, don't close the door. I echo what you said, right? Don't close the door on any student just because of a grade. Yeah. Cool. I think this has been a really enlightening afternoon. Right. Thank you all for making the time. I'm just going to do a quick wrap up. And if there are any questions that stream in, we'll address them. Just wanted to highlight some of the things we talked about today. Right. We learned about some tools. Right. We learned about how, having a very easy to use tool, an all-in-one tool, is extremely useful. Right, something like a class do, right, where you can even just use your camera and show things around a room, right, making it really immersive and very convenient for your students is going to make a difference. Besides diving into the tools, we also talked a little bit about how do you want to structure a lesson, right? How do you want to make it a lot more engaging? Don't make it a boring live stream. Don't just show videos, but rather flip the classroom, right? Get them to tackle challenges on their own. And then when they're with you, right, dive in and customize it, right? Don't teach to the masses, but instead customize it for your students, for their style of learning, whether they're more motivated than others or whether they need a little bit more encouragement or nudging, right, or nurturing. We also talked a little bit about how do you want to get like students interested in entrepreneurship, right? We've got to hear a little bit from Chu as well on his personal experience in starting a tech startup, right, from ground up. I think, just to wrap up, right, today's webinar is about digital tools, right, digital classroom tools, as well as entrepreneurship, right, and both of these are incredibly important. Chu, do you have any last words to say before we kind of wrap up the webinar?
Maybe I'll launch. I didn't even announce this to you. Maybe I'll launch a surprise. So whoever's in the audience who actually wants to try out Class Do, I'm willing to let you guys go at it for free. So when you actually go into Class Do, when you sign up, there's a chat box. Just say that you heard. You say that Chu has offered you this, and you've actually attended Reactors webinar for educators, and I'll get my support team to do something about it.
Thanks.
So this is a surprise present. Like, yeah, I didn't even tell you, John.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Thanks, Chu. Really appreciate it. Thank you for extending.
Like, if anybody wants to give it a try, just feel free. Sign up, but tell support that you're from here so that you can get it for free. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks so much. We'll drop all these details as well, right? And just send it all out to all of you, right, as a reminder. So yeah, thanks so much, you, for the heads up there. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. And likewise, right? If you'd like to get in touch with us, right, feel free. Reach out to us at Reactor School. We are very happy to help your students understand more about entrepreneurship, and more importantly, learn to apply it in a real life setting, right? To build the right skills, the right mindsets to start their own businesses. It may not be today, but it will definitely be very soon. We are super excited, and we know that you have to start young, right? So we're very excited to hear from you as well. If you're interested to find out more about helping your students learn about entrepreneurship, do get in touch with us. I think to wrap up today's webinar, Chu, Carol, thanks so much for joining us for our webinar this afternoon. It was really cool learning about Class Do and hearing about your experiences. Thank you, and and thanks Elaine as well for anchoring the support on the Reactor side. Thank you so much.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the Miro team as well, because they actually created that video for this session for us. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks Natalie as well. Yeah, all the way from Europe, right? Yeah. All right, guys. If that's it, we'll call the webinar to a close. We'll still hang around, so if you want to ask some questions one-to-one, that's perfectly fine. If not, thank you all. We hope you've learned a lot this afternoon, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.